G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. It's another glorious day here in Sydney, and it's the first day of winter, but you wouldn't think it is. It's just beautiful and sunny. It's just like a beautiful autumn day, spring day, or even a early morning summer's day. So welcome to winter to all my friends here in Sydney and Australia, to all those in the southern hemisphere, and to those in the northern hemisphere, happy summer. Oh, how jealous I am to be in Greece at the moment. But alas, we'll find out how long it'll take us. I dare say it'll take us a few years, but hopefully we can be there in the next one or two. Anyway, I'm down here at Haberfield at the moment at what's this place called? I've forgotten what it's called. Anyway, it'll come to me as I continue my 5am club. But what I want to do today is take you through a book summary, an interesting book summary entitled The Social Leap by William von Hippel. William von Hippel wrote an interesting book entitled The Social Leap, and as you can see, the tide's coming in, and what we're going to do is we're going to examine how humans as a species were able to not only survive but also thrive over time, and it was mainly due to their ability to cooperate, to socialise, and to work together to achieve community goals. A real powerful thing and a real powerful message, which is timely, especially at this time of year or at this time of our lives where we're going through COVID-19. And what you can see emerging is there are, I guess, two schools of thought. You've got the people who want to take advantage of the technology that is available to us, the major breakthroughs that we've had in science and through medical science, to be able to vaccinate us, to inoculate us against the COVID-19 virus. And yet you've got many people still who are skeptics, who don't believe that the virus is safe or the vaccine is safe, and are choosing not to vaccinate, which is, I guess, causing a few major sort of issues. And the key issues that are coming out of this is that in order for us all to potentially benefit, we need to get to a level of herd immunity, which means that at least 70% of the population needs to be vaccinated so that we can get back to some sort of social normality. But unfortunately, I don't think that is going to happen. Not in Australia, not in Greece, not in very many countries, because whilst the vaccine rollout commenced very well, what happened was, along the way there were a couple of hiccups, and the media and the skeptics got on the bandwagon that basically spooked the people who were not yet decided. And what we've got now is we've got a level of hesitancy, which is breeding a level of complacency. And that level of complacency is pushing the vaccine to tomorrow. And what we've learnt in life is that what you don't do today, what you don't ramp up and push through as quickly as you can in your life, the things that you leave till tomorrow never ever eventuate, because another excuse will come up and another amount of doubt the seeds of doubt will be planted in people's heads, and the cycle will commence again. But this book here tells us that the reasons why we evolved and survived over the hundreds of thousands of years is because of our ability to work together. So our behaviours, according to the author here, our behaviour is still dictated by every way that our ancient ancestors have evolved to survive in the first place. Because our ancestors learnt at a very early point in their history to cooperate, to survive, and to build on our knowledge and on our previous knowledge. The thing is that we humans still seek the connection with others, and we can get it these days through social media, hence why it's been easier for people to be isolated, stay at home, work from home, because we do have the technology now to enable people to not feel as isolated, but we still need to physically catch up with each other, to meet with each other, to interact with each other on various sort of planes in order to feel fulfilled as human beings is the bottom line and the key message and key learning, I guess, that we can use to springboard off. So, but the big challenge is that we need people. We need people who are able to lead us and to convince us and others to cooperate in order to achieve a vision. And that role at the moment is held by some of the senior leaders that we have in our society, our prime ministers, our premiers, our religious leaders, and the heads of the different families and communities that are around us, the senior people, the people who have had experiences, who have lived a few generations, who've enjoyed both ups and downs, who have experienced wars, who have experienced losses in their lives. And yet I can sense, and it's been happening for quite a while now, that people have lost their faith in each other, they've lost faith in leadership, and they're more inclined to listen to the ramblings on social media by people who have absolutely no authority, no training, or no capability to voice opinion on topics, and they're happy to follow people who, I guess, are blind in many ways to the full spectrum of consequences. And in one way, it's the blind leading the blind. So the author talks about that in this book here, and that in order for us to grow and to survive and to thrive as a species, we need to learn and to really want to team together and to cooperate. The author then goes on to say, well, if you want to understand clearly where joy and misery come from, what we need to do is we need to look at the purpose of happiness in our evolutionary happiness. So as we evolved, what the author is saying here is that the things that historically made us happy were basically the things that enabled us to survive and to that added to our evolutionary growth and development. So the things that worked for us were the things that made us happy, and it wasn't necessarily ice cream and just having a laugh at a joke and things like that. Behind that happiness is a deeper purpose, and that purpose is something that we need to try and re-identify with, I guess, in 2021. So the author here says that we need to have a balance of satisfaction and motivation, because at the moment, especially here in Australia, we don't have the pressure that other countries have, like England, India, Italy, Greece, France, America, you name it. There are many, many countries throughout the world who are absolutely suffering. South Africa are going through another wave at the moment. Japan's going through another wave, and we've got the Olympics kicking off there in 80 or so days. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in Japan. But the author says here we need a balance between being satisfied and being motivated, because that still is the key thing for the way we behave today. So where does this lead us? What is this showing us? What is this teaching us? What it's basically saying that unless you can see an immediate threat, then you're not going to be very motivated to do anything. And a lot of younger people, a lot of people who are skeptical, have their health and are quite confident in their ability to get through the challenges of COVID-19, as they should. But we also need to understand that we have an element within our community, our elders, the people who we should protect, look up to and respect, who are less capable of dealing with the threats of COVID-19 because they may have impaired immune systems, they may have some comorbidities in terms of other illnesses that could get triggered or make the reaction to a severe virus even worse. But these people need to be protected, and in order to protect them, we all need to do our bits. It's not about just them being vaccinated and us doing our own thing. It's about us all working together as a community to relieve ourselves of our selfish needs and to be socially conscious, to think about the others. Because what we don't want, and there are ample examples of this, what we don't want is we don't want our hospital beds and our hospital system filled with people who are suffering COVID-19, so much so that other people who have other illnesses can't get into hospital to get treated. I have an example of a friend of mine that I worked with, an Indian friend, who said that his grandfather in India passed away. He passed away not from COVID-19, he didn't get COVID-19, but he had an illness that required hospitalisation. But because the hospitals were jam-packed with people suffering COVID-19, he was unable to get a bed in the hospital, he was unable to get admitted into hospital, and he died a terrible death, a sad death, because nobody could make time or provide the resources to be able to treat him. So that's the reason why I got my vaccination, so that I didn't get ill, and I may not have gotten ill, but what happens if I did get ill? I'm the sole income earner in my family. I have my wife who is dependent on me. If I get sick and the income to the household is impacted, then I impact myself, I impact my wife. So socially, the responsible thing for me to do is, of course, to go and get vaccinated, to try and minimise the impact of me getting ill. So where is this leading me? Where is this leading us? I hear of people suggesting that the reason why some people are not getting vaccinated is because of religious reasons. That they are pious people and they have their beliefs. And I say to myself, how can somebody, and I can only talk about my own religion, how can somebody be Greek Orthodox and claim that they are pious and are doing the right thing by their religion when our very religious leaders, the Archbishop Makarios, the priesthood, many religious leaders are getting vaccinated and recommending to their flock to do the same thing. My spiritual father told me, he says, James, as Christians, we've got to do the right thing for our brothers and sisters. If the state says, if the health authorities say that we need to get vaccinated in order to minimise the impact on the health system and to stop the spread of COVID-19, or to be vaccinated so you protect yourself so that you don't get overly sick and take up a bed in the hospital, then we need to respect and honour the state that we live in and the laws that we have around us. You know, for me to say I'm not going to get vaccinated because I've got my own obscure views that I've picked up on Facebook or some other social media, and ignore the leadership and the spiritual advice from my spiritual fathers, is a hypocrisy, to say the least. So I don't know why they insist on using religion as a reason not to get vaccinated, when the patriarchy, the Archbishop, the Patriarch of Constantinople, have clearly stated their position, and the Archbishop Makarios is also an academic on bioethics. Not only is he a man of the cloth, he's also a man of high education. And not only that, he also specialises in bioethics. So for him to say and to agree and to accept the gift of God, which is the COVID-19 vaccination, then why would you or any other of my Greek Orthodox brothers and sisters think otherwise and not think that we are hypocrites at the same time? Anyway, let me just finish off from this book summary here, because I have gone on a bit of a tangent, but it is an important topic at this point in time. So the author then finishes off the book by saying that you'll be happier when you understand and satisfy your evolutionary requirements. Our evolutionary requirements, of course, are to survive as a species, to do what we need to do in order to protect not only ourselves, not only to be selfishly inclined, but also to be community inclined, to do the right thing by our partners, our families, our friends, our community, and our wider community. And to be obedient and not to be recalcitrant at every opportunity. Now, the world is characterized by division, by strong division. Now, we know why that division happens. but it shouldn't be the case. You know, there are some things which just make sense. You've just got to do it and get on with it. I had my COVID-19 vaccination on Friday. I'm not dead. I'm not sick. You know, just like I said to somebody the other day, she goes, oh, you know, aren't you worried that you're going to get a blood clot? And I'm saying, well, we're going into the city today and we're going to go up a 30 or 40 story building. Have you stopped and thought and worried about whether or not that lift is going to break down and drop 20 floors? Have you worried about us driving into the city and having an accident and getting T-boned at an intersection? And they said no. And I said, well, if you haven't worried about that, then why would you worry about a vaccine? Why would you worry about something that's not worth worrying about? That the chances of something going wrong are infinitesimal. So the author then here goes on to talk about the whole fact that we should just physically and basically focus on the things which are important. Like a squirrel. A squirrel just focuses on having a good life. It focuses on eating, avoid getting eaten, and it gets good at its mating rituals. And that's all it is. Just do it and don't worry about it, for God's sake. You know, but we humans, you know, we've just got too many bloody options. We've got too many things to think about. We've got too many selfish needs and indulgences that get us spinning and worrying about things that are not worth worrying about. We become, you know, protagonists in things that are not worth even considering to fight and to resist. You know, we spend too much time trying to resist rather than just trying to understand and move along with it. So the bottom line from this author, and I'm finishing up now, so thank you very much for joining me, is that we need to be a contributing member of society. We need to contribute. And in order to contribute means that we need to do what's good, not just for us alone, but what is good for everybody. And to try and consider that we're a link in a big chain. We're part of a huge network. And what we say and what we do is being observed by lots of people around us. So one thing that we can all do is help each other make the right decisions and not to worry about things that are not worth worrying about. So let's work on our strengths, according to the author, and utilize that gift that we all have, which makes us so very, very special. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's been an honour coming to you from down here at Haberfield. This was the place of the old Marconi Club, and I forget what it's called now. Bloody hell, getting old, I think. But I appreciate you joining me on this episode where we went through The Social Leap, a book summary by William von Hippel, and hopefully we've learnt a few things. And I hope I haven't hit on too many sensitivities on what I just talked about, but it's something that puzzles me, that we will come up with all of these excuses why we shouldn't do something that will eventually help us and help others around us as well. We think about things too much sometimes, and we put a huge value on certain things that really don't need to carry that level of value. At the end of the day, there are people out there who are specialists. There are people out there who are leaders in their field. who advise us, and you don't have to go out of your way to try and find 300 reasons why they're wrong, because we don't have that much time in our lives, nor that much energy to keep on trying to becoming the expert at everything. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, and we'll chat again. And I look forward to coming to you again from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment, where we can chat again about different topics so that we can live, learn and pass it on, and be the wind beneath our wings, and we can basically get through the day, get through the week, and get through the many, many challenges that we'll face without getting distracted and taken on a huge bloody tangent by every Tom, Dick and Harry who has an opinion about something which isn't their expertise and isn't something that they have any authority in talking about. So, yassas, take care, filakya, and we'll chat again. Bye for now.